Hi, and welcome to the Shoot from the Heart podcast with me, Diane Bell. If you want to write a script, make a movie, or quite simply live an abundant and creatively fulfilled life, you are in the right place. Each week I'll share with you tips, techniques, and real-world information that will inspire and empower you on your path. Thank you so much for joining me. I am rooting for you all the way. Let's do this. Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this episode of my podcast. And this is going to be quite a special episode. This is going to be an episode for you in particular if you are a female artist, creative, visionary, entrepreneur who is ready to raise the bar on themselves. As you may know, I have gone through quite a number of massive shifts in my life, and particularly in the last 6 years or so. You might know my story that when I was 46 years old, I woke up and I was not happy with my life. It was literally the day after my birthday. I woke up with this hangover and I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was not happy with where I was or where I felt like I was heading. And on that day, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to change my life. That by the time I was 50 years old, I was going to be happier, healthier, wealthier, and wiser than I had ever been before. Now, I knew that in my life, I had previously created some pretty incredible results. And I knew it was possible to do that. One area of my life that I'd never done that was in my finances. And quite simply, all my adult life, I had lived with very little money. And I had done it really well and really elegantly and really mastered the art of living an abundant life with little money. It is possible. But I was tired of it. I wanted more money in my life, and I decided to make that a priority to change my money story. Now, my money story, I think, is like the money story of many female artists and creatives and spiritual women, in that I felt like to go after money was somehow selfish and shallow, like only people who were materialistic wanted money. And I wasn't materialistic. I was a spiritual person. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. The things that I value are freedom above everything, creativity, like spontaneity, like all these things that felt in opposition to the desire and quest for money. I don't really care about designer clothes or bags or labels or any of that sort of flashiness of conspicuous consumption. It's like, no, I'm not interested in it. And so I very much made it my thing that I don't care about money. And the result was I never really had any. But at this age of 46, I was like, dang, I'm sick of this. I now have 2 children. I had my second baby, so I had a little baby. And I was like, I want to be able to do certain things with them. I want to live my life a certain way. I'm just done with this feeling of not being able to buy what I want when I want. So that was one of my main focuses. And some of you might hear that still and be like, oh, it's not about money for me. And I get it. It wasn't about money for me for many years until it was. And I really recognized in that moment that you can't really be free until you have a certain amount of money flowing through your life. So happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser became my mantra. But obviously wealthier was probably the one that was in neon because I knew how to be happy and I knew how to be healthy and I knew how to be wise, but I didn't know how to be wealthy. And so that was the one that really needed the most work from me. And I dedicated myself to it. It meant that I had to change some of my longest held beliefs about myself and about the world. It meant I had to do things that just felt so uncomfortable and so crazy. You'd probably laugh at some of them, but things like reading the book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I mean, for me, that was like, who am I? Who even am I buying a book like this and reading this? Who am I? Because all my life I would have laughed at people reading a book like that. But there I was. And I said to myself, you know what? I am willing to see things differently. I am willing to do things differently because I know that whatever I have been doing until this point has got me here. And if I want something else, I'm going to have to be willing to do and see things differently. And that is always the key to it. So if you know my story, you'll know I succeeded. Within a very short amount of time, I started earning more money consistently than I had ever earned in my entire life. I started my online business. I completely devoted myself to it. I became obsessed with it the same way that I had once been obsessed with writing scripts and making movies. I became obsessed about becoming the best teacher that I could be, creating the best programs that I could create, giving people the best experience I could give them, all the things. And the result was that my business grew pretty darn fast and I started to make a lot of money from it. And it was incredible. It was amazing. And through that, I was able to buy a house for the first time in my adult life, something that for quite a long time I thought would never happen, quite frankly. And we were able to buy the house. And then to top it off, we sold the house within 2 years and then moved to Spain, which was also this dream. It was just like, oh my God, like what is happening? So by the time that I turned 50, my life had completely transformed in 4 short years. In 4 years, I'd gone from broke, anxious, not living where I wanted, to living my purpose, loving what I was doing, impacting the lives of thousands of people, making a lot of money, living where it's just everything about it. It's like, what just happened? But what happened then after I turned 50 was I started to contract. I started to feel fear. I started to not know what was next because I couldn't really imagine a next. To be honest, I'd fulfilled, done better than I had really expected when I had set these goals at 46. To be honest, I can remember very clearly when I started my business, walking down the street saying to myself, if I could just make $10,000 a month, if my business could bring in $10,000 a month, that would be like the holy grail. That would be amazing. And by this point, I was making $20,000, $30,000 months. And it's like, whoa, okay, now what? And now what? And what I've realized recently is that I hadn't really let myself dream beyond the dream, and I hadn't really let myself dream half as big as I could have or should have. I remember when I started my business hearing people talk about 7-figure businesses. And I'm like, oh God, I don't need a 7-figure business. $1 million business? Good Lord. Or 8-figure businesses. That's even more. That's just like far-fetched ridiculousness. But why? Why do we curb our dreams so much? What I know to be true is that you get in this life what you believe is possible for you. You get in this life what you think you can. You will never get more than that. It doesn't happen. If you don't think it's possible for you to make 6 figures in a year, you won't. If you don't think it's possible for you to make 7 figures in a year, you definitely won't. Every single milestone and every single level requires you to step up your game. So after I hit all these goals and I moved to Spain and here I was, I turned 50 and I'm like, oh my God, my life is here. Now what? Now what? It was like inside, it felt like my soul just died and it felt very frightening. My thoughts weren't, how do I keep growing this? But like, how do I sustain this? And who am I anyway? And what am I doing? And can I really do this? And am I going to get found out? I'm just being absolutely honest here. Okay. So this is not me sugarcoating it at all. This is the honest truth. And on the outside, I'm trying to keep it going and keep it seem like everything's great. But on the inside, I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, feeling anxious, feeling terrified. What am I doing? Who am I? So finally, just a couple months ago, something shifted in me again in a very big way. And I realized that just like when you decide to go after a new goal, immediately there's all these thoughts that come up as to why you can't have it, like why that's impossible, why you'd never be able to do it, why you're being ridiculous. All those thoughts, all those little demons, all that conditioning rears its head. But when you step into that goal, when you actually make it your reality, those things come at you tenfold. And that's basically what happened to me. But those things are never your truth. They're never your highest truth. And I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Imagine for a moment your highest, best self, like you living your ultimate dream life. Not the one that you think you can achieve, but like the ultimate of all ultimates. And just take a moment right now to visualize that for yourself. Visualize this version of you who is really doing the thing, living the life, living the dream. I don't know, maybe it's to do with a certain house, a certain location for you. Maybe it's driving a certain car, dressed in a certain way, going into your bank, looking at the bank account, like whatever it is. I want you to just take a moment and imagine that version of you and know that is available to you. But I want you to think about what she believes about what is possible and what she thinks she can have and what she is worthy of. Because the truth is, you're worthy of everything you dream of. And I say this not because I know you and because you're special. You are. But I say this because we're all worthy of everything. We were born worthy and nothing changes. Like, you're worthy, that's not up for grabs. That's just a fact. That's like saying you're alive. You're alive, therefore you're worthy, right? There's no question about that. And yet we've been so deeply conditioned into playing a smaller game, so deeply conditioned into thinking it's greedy to want more. That's enough for you. You can't have more than that. A good person wouldn't want more than that. We're so deeply conditioned with it. Now, I believe this conditioning is tenfold, if not more, if you are a woman. Because in the history of womankind, it is very recent that we are actually even allowed to earn our own money. You don't have to go back that far and discover women couldn't even have bank accounts on their own, never mind credit cards. Never mind start businesses and make fortunes. That was not a thing until very recently. So women have been disenfranchised from wealth and from money for thousands of years. In fact, the only way for women to make money for a long time was obviously through marrying a wealthy man. And that was it. And in the last century, when women started to be allowed to make money, it was really only by becoming a man. You had to choose. Do you want to be a career woman or do you want to be a family woman, a housewife? But you couldn't be both. But here we are now at this new age where something new is possible. You get to be creative and wild and free and bring your incredible gifts out to the world. And you get to make a lot of money, more money than you've ever imagined. So much money. You get to be a millionaire. You get to be a millionaire doing what you love. Just think about that for a moment and let it set into you, because maybe you're like, oh no, not really. That's just a few people. I want you to know that is possible for you. But in order for you to make that reality, you're going to have to decondition yourself. You're going to have to step through those fears. You're going to have to shed them. You're going to have to let go of them. You're going to have to get really clear about what you really want, what your gifts are, who you're here to serve, and what you are here to give. Because the money does not flow to you by you just praying for it, being worthy, and it just effortlessly like magnetizes to you. You're going to have to give. There's a sacred transaction that happens where you give your gifts and you are rewarded for them. So I've been giving a lot of thought to this. And suddenly I woke up this summer and I said, you know what, Diane, game on. It's time to go bigger. It is time to go bigger. You thought this was the end of the road for you. This is as good as it gets. Are you kidding me? There's a whole other level for you, Diane. Wake up. And that's what I'm doing. I am going now into my Millionaire Creatrix era. And I want you to come with me. This is about creating millions, not from hustle, hard work, striving, pressure. This is about entering our Millionaire Creatrix era through being in complete alignment with the truth of who you truly are, of creating offerings from your soul, giving them to the world, and being beautifully compensated, abundantly compensated for them. This is the era where your own worth, and you are constantly expanding your idea of what it is safe for you to receive and what you can receive. This is the era where you finally shed the patriarchal ideas that you have to play small, be small, dim your light in order to fit in and not threaten others. This is the era where you step up and live your fullest potential. That version of you that you called up before, she is your Millionaire Creatrix. You are her. That is who you truly are. So are you ready? Do you want to come with me? Are you ready to ignite this era in your life? Now, I'm going to be sharing this weekend a 3-day experience where I'm going to share with you the 4 pillars to creating this life as your reality. Because it's fine to talk about the sort of the vision and the feeling of it, and we can all get pumped up about it and be like, yes, I'm a Millionaire Creatrix. But I'm going to give you the blueprint to actually make it happen. You're going to learn exactly the 4 things that you need to focus on if you want to embody that version of yourself and make it your reality. This is for you if you are a woman who already has an online business or a business of some kind where you're earning good money, but it's not yet great. This is going to be for you. This is going to be for you if you're an artist or you're a creative person. And again, you're playing smaller than you really could be. And maybe you're having some decent success. There's a whole other level of success. It will work for you too. This is for you too if you are just starting out on this path. If you're still like, okay, Diane, even the 6 figures sounds amazing to me. Like, forget about being a millionaire. Come. Because let me tell you, it's absolutely the truth that the bigger your vision is, the further you're going to go. And this really, for me, is the crux of the problem for so many women. Our dream, our vision is too damn small. We need to 10x it. We need to 100x it. We need to blow it up. We need to be like, damn, millionaire? That's not even enough. I'm going for billionaire status. And do it not from a place of neediness and greed and wanting to take from others, but from a place of abundance, from a place of, come on, let's go. Let's find out what we're all capable of. Let's shine brighter than ever before. Let's create amazing things and put them out into the world and really hone our way of describing them and messaging them and talking to people so that we bring them in and together we all rise. Because that really is the ultimate truth about the Millionaire Creatrix movement. Together we rise. This is not woman against woman. This is us raising each other up. So join me. Go to dianebell.com/rising and sign up. And then please share this with every woman because together we rise. I don't want to leave any women behind. Every woman who is ready to claim their Millionaire Creatrix era, to become that beautiful, magical, creative woman that they know they were born to be, who is also living in overflow of time, overflow of riches, overflow of abundance. It is all available to you. It's all available to all of us. Let's frickin' go. So dianebell.com/rising. I hope you will join me, and I can't wait to start this new era with you. The era of the Millionaire Creatrix. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. I know you can listen to so many different podcasts, so it really means the world to me that you chose to listen to this. If you've enjoyed this and you've had any value out of this podcast at all, can I ask a little favor? Could you please share it on social media or go to wherever you're listening to it and leave a review so that other people can find it? I really, really appreciate it so much. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you the next one. If you want to get in touch at any point, send me a message, support@dianebell.com, and also check out my website, dianebell.com, and see what I'm up to. Hopefully I'll see you in the social medias. Take care, and I'll see you next time.